The dim glow of the palace candles illuminated the weary face of a monarch whose name would become synonymous with madness and revolution. King George III of England, the man who ruled an empire upon which the sun never set, was as much a product of his time as he was a prisoner of his mind. But beneath the powdered wig and royal regalia lay a deeply human figure, shaped by pressures that few could endure and struggles that fewer still could comprehend. George William Frederick ascended to the throne in 1760, a young king of 22 years, eager to stabilize a monarchy that had been shaken by scandal and factionalism. Raised under the shadow of a stern and domineering mother, Augusta of Saxe-Gotha, and an absent father, Frederick, Prince of Wales, George grew up in an environment of suffocating control and isolation. It was a childhood marked by duty and expectation, but devoid of warmth, a void that would echo through George's reign. As king, George endeavored to assert the crown's independence from the powerful aristocratic factions that had come to dominate British politics. His determination earned him the nickname Farmer George, a reflection of his diligent and methodical approach to governance. Yet this steadfastness masked a deeper vulnerability. George was acutely aware of his role as a symbol of national stability, and the weight of that responsibility pressed upon him relentlessly. The American Revolution became a crucible for George's reign, testing his resolve and reshaping his legacy. Yet George saw himself as a father figure, bound by duty to preserve the integrity of his empire. The defeat at Yorktown in 1781 marked not just the loss of the American colonies, but also a personal blow to George's psyche. Beyond the battlefield, George grappled with the personal trials that would define his later years. By the 1780s, he began to exhibit the symptoms of a mysterious illness that would plague him for the rest of his life. During these episodes, George's behavior became erratic. He spoke incessantly, sometimes for hours on end, and his speech often veered into incoherence. Yet George's illness cannot be understood in isolation from the psychological pressures he faced. The relentless scrutiny of court life, the ceaseless demands of governance, and the unyielding expectations of kingship compounded his fragile mental state. Even as his condition worsened, George was expected to maintain the facade of regal composure, an expectation that must have felt both cruel and impossible. In his moments of clarity, George remained a man of profound intellect and curiosity. He was an avid supporter of the arts and sciences, amassing a vast library that would later form the nucleus of the British Library. He took a personal interest in agriculture, earning his Farmer George moniker not only for his work ethic, but also for his genuine passion for rural life. George's relationship with his family further illuminates the complexities of his character. He was deeply devoted to his wife, Queen Charlotte, and their 15 children, striving to create a sense of stability and moral virtue within his household. Yet his illness strained these bonds, as his erratic behavior and prolonged absences during his episodes left his family grappling with their own sense of loss and helplessness. The Regency crisis of 1788 to 1789 brought George's condition into the public sphere, as debates over his capacity to rule threatened to destabilize the monarchy. The king's temporary recovery in 1789 was met with widespread relief, but it was clear that his reign would never be the same. By the time of his final descent into madness in 1810, George had become a tragic figure, both revered and pitied by his subjects. George III's legacy is often overshadowed by his role in the American Revolution and his struggles with mental illness. Yet, his life offers a profound window into the interplay between power and vulnerability. He was a man who sought to reconcile the demands of kingship with the limitations of his own humanity, a task made all the more daunting by the rigid expectations of his time. His illness, far from diminishing his significance, underscores the courage it took to persist in the face of such overwhelming adversity. In the end, George III was more than the mad king or the monarch who lost America. He was a deeply complex individual, shaped by the currents of history and the contours of his own psyche. His story is a testament to the enduring tension between power and vulnerability, a reminder that even the mightiest figures are not immune to the fragilities of the human condition. Was George a victim of mental illness or a man simply possessed with an affinity for power? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more videos like these.